Ooh, disgusting, dirty, weird, bloody.
Don't talk about periods. They are gross.
Why are you being so much of a... You must be PMSing.
Haha, look everyone, she's got tampons in her bag.
Just hold it in and stop being dramatic.
These words and comments are all too common to myself and other girls who went to the school in the UK.
Period stigma is caused by a lack of education as periods are misunderstood, which leads to bullying and comments like these.
Making women feel insecure and shamed. This causes women to feel embarrassed and isolated, as evidenced by 52% of women from the ages of 20 to 49 that hide their sanitary products when carrying them to avoid embarrassment.
It's shocking that 40% of women experience period shaming from their partners and 30% from their male friends.
We determined through primary research from sources such as ActionAid and WE Schools that one of the main causes of period stigma is the lack of knowledge and understanding of period cycles amongst men.
Even the government's period product scheme for schools and colleges in England, created in December of 2020, stated that teaching boys about periods is necessary to properly tackle period stigma.
But currently, the scheme fails to go beyond providing sanitary products to schools for a fee, to be then provided to young female learners for free.
So we decided to create Code Pink as a direct solution to tackling period stigma by educating young male learners about periods, and therefore bridging the gap in the government scheme.
Ensuring they have all the knowledge they need to be a more empathetic and understanding female ally.
Unlike the government scheme, Code Pink from the outset aims to tackle the root cause of period stigma at the source, and not just address the symptoms such as period poverty.
Code Pink started in October of 2020 as a brand new project for Enactus Salford, a society that started in September with just one member. We developed a strategic vision that would enable us to deliver a pilot programme to a class of Year 6 male learners by the end of the academic year.
We created 2 gendered focus groups. The male group was to better understand what men know now, what they knew when they were in school, and what they would have liked to know at a younger age.
With the girls, we wanted to hear their experiences and what they thought boys should learn about periods, and how they would like males to act more respectfully and empathetically towards them.
We contacted a PGCE course teacher from the University of Salford to determine how it's best to structure and deliver the session to the target age group. 2 members of Enactus Salford proceeded to take part in 3 coaching sessions to learn how to effectively deliver the content to young male learners.
To ensure the session material was medically correct and of the highest standard, we contacted an NHS sexual health specialist for advice.
We fully applied the combined insight and experiences of these to decide upon the best delivery method and content for the session.
Being based in Salford with our members spread across the country, and some even abroad, and with the rest of the country in lockdown, we understood that our lesson would have to be delivered virtually, and therefore we planned for this from the onset.
We selected the schools to contact based on the low socioeconomic standing of the area that the school was based in, and also the PSHE curriculum aspect of their Ofsted report.
The school we partnered with is called Woodland Primary School in Ellesmere Port. They loved the idea and wanted us to deliver the 40-minute session to their Year 6 boys.
Once we made contact with our partner school, Woodlands Primary, we demonstrated entrepreneurial leadership by responding quickly to their needs and tailored our delivery style and format to that of a pre-recorded session in line with their approach to learning during the most recent lockdown.
Because we couldn't deliver this session in person, we developed a worksheet that would include sections to complete during and after the session, as we determined that this would be the best way to measure impact and the distance travelled.
To better enable the delivery and quality of our pre-recorded session, we used the funds from the Enactus Development Challenge to buy filming and audio recording equipment. Also, just in case we were able to deliver a live session to another partner school, we bought a subscription to Slido in preparation for future scalability.
We also ran a fundraising campaign over the period of a month, raising £615, which we will talk more about later.
Upon completing extensive research, we were unable to find a similar programme anywhere in the UK that is approaching period stigma by educating young male learners about periods.
In addition to placing an essential emphasis on teaching young male learners, We also demonstrated innovation by having the session taught by relatable and positive male role models to model and mirror accepting attitudes, values, and behaviours, as the lesson taught not only about periods, but also integrated development of empathy into the session.
We demonstrated innovation by utilising mentoring methodologies whilst also utilising a tone that accentuated the importance of the issue while still remaining engaging.
Lottie told us that in addition to the session bridging a gap in their own curriculum, the way the session was delivered was perfect, which she said led to the boys to be completely engaged and take in everything they were taught.
Why don't we get stuck in with the lesson and see what it's all about?
Firstly, we said hello and briefly introduced the topic.
Then we discussed why it is important that they learn about periods and explained why guys typically don't know much about them and the effects of this.
It was here that we asked the boys to answer this part of the worksheet, so we could assess what the boys already know or don't know about periods. This part of the worksheet was also used later on, after the lesson, to understand how a workshop improved their knowledge. You'll see more about this in a little bit.
In the next section, we covered what periods are, why women have them, showing them the biological differences between boys and girls, the female reproductive organs, the menstrual cycle, and how it all fits together, all whilst encouraging the students to think and understand why it's such an important and sensitive topic.
Then we asked them to complete this part of the worksheet, where they matched the questions to the correct answers to test their understanding on what they had just learned.
In the next part, we demonstrated how women use some of the more common female sanitary products, tampons, menstrual cups, and sanitary pads, whilst again encouraging them to understand why these products are essential to women and why it may be sensitive for women to talk about it.
In the final part of the worksheet that was completed during the lesson, we asked them to match the word to the correct picture and then the picture to the correct amount of time, again to test their understanding on the information that they had just learned.
Finally, we pose and answer the questions that have been forwarded to us by the partner school, as well as those raised in our gendered focus groups to further strengthen the session.
After the lesson, we asked them to complete an empathy map so that not only could we measure impact further, but the activity also provided a useful exercise for the boys to understand how girls may feel and think during their period by putting themselves in the girls' shoes.
In the feedback section, we were able to measure impact by gathering information on how much they know now compared to their knowledge prior to the session, as well as identifying something that they knew at the end of the lesson that they didn't know before, whether there were any things they were still unsure about, and whether they think it is important for other boys their age to learn about periods, and if they enjoyed the lesson and why.
We delivered the session to 53 boys, so why don't we hear from Woodlands Primary to see what they thought about the lesson?
So after the lesson, I've spoken to obviously my other two colleagues, and they are all really impressed with Code Pink and the whole video that Sam put together. They said that it was really clear, and I think it went brilliantly. They were really open, sensible. They listened to Sam and what he had to say, and it was just brilliant. So I'm really happy, and I'd love to continue to work with Code Pink in the future.
The partner school told us, which is evident in the worksheet, that most of the boys knew next to nothing about periods before the lesson.
The teachers from the school told us that during the lesson, the boys were extremely sensible and polite, owing that to the way in which the session was delivered by male Enactus members to young male learners in the appropriate manner. This was made even better as most of the boys got the exercises right during the session, demonstrating that they understood what we had just taught.
They also demonstrated their ability to correctly identify the names of the female reproductive organs.
The empathy map was where the powerful transformation happened, as the learners demonstrated their understanding of how girls, whilst on their periods, may think and feel.
Sad, anxious, in pain, snappy, they may not know what is happening.
Here.
People saying ooh and disgusting, jokes, mean things.
See.
Being looked at, laughing, staring, sanitary products.
Say and do.
Use products, hide it, get food, ow, try to get comfy.
From the feedback section of the worksheet and from what Lottie and her colleagues told us, the thing that most of the boys said they were surprised to learn was that a period doesn't just last for a week, but it is a part of a whole 28-day cycle.
One thing that we can definitely see is a transformational change in perspective and empathy from the boys towards their female classmates.
And as an added bonus, in the next academic year, we should be able to deliver in-person sessions next year, meaning that we can directly engage with the students.
This claim was furthered by Lottie explaining that a couple of girls had recently started their period, and she is more confident now that the boys will be a lot more respectful and that the girls will feel more comfortable in class.
The £615 raise from our fundraising campaign will sustain us for the next 2 academic years, providing materials for demonstrations, transport and digital aids. We aim to deliver 10 sessions in 2022, 16 in 2023, and also start charging £60 per session in this year, making Code Pink self-sustaining. This growth is predicted by the growth already exhibited this year as we deliver 2 identical sessions to 53 boys from Woodlands Primary and an additional session in a second partner school.
What's more, we have an In the Works female taught workshop as requested by Woodlands Primary, which will focus on providing guidance on what to expect and how to respond to periods, as well as normalising the experience of periods, which will be delivered to Woodlands Primary Year 6 girls after Easter.
And as an added bonus, in the next academic year, we should be able to deliver in-person sessions next year, meaning we can directly engage with the students.
Code Pink has proven to be impactful in the drive to reduce and work to eliminate period stigma by opening up the dialogue through our workshop among young boys during their journey to become a real man.
One who's empathetic, compassionate, understanding, open and willing to improve, and above all, respectful.
We are Code Pink. Thank you for listening.